continue with the last video. So the path length is always positive despite of any direction. The object is moving. So this is the very important note for you. Path length, the value of the path length is always positive, but displacement can be positive as well as negative. And the second difference is the value of the path length is always equal to the value of the path length is always equal to the total distance traveled. But the value of the displacement may or may not be equal to the total distance traveled. Okay, so the value of the path length is always equal to the total distance traveled. So path length is always equals to the total distance traveled. It is not more than or less than the total distance traveled. But the value of the displacement may or may not be equal to the total distance traveled. Okay, the value of the displacement may or may not be equal to the total distance traveled. That means the value of the displacement may or may not be equal to the total distance traveled. So displacement can be same as total distance traveled. Displacement cannot be same as the total distance traveled. In the case of cannot be same, displacement may be lesser than the total distance traveled. In the case of not equal to the total distance traveled, displacement may be lesser than the total distance traveled, but it cannot be more than more than the total distance traveled. So the value of the displacement may or may not be equal to the total distance. Path length is always equal to the total distance traveled, but the value of the displacement may or may not be equal to the total distance traveled. So if it is not equal to the total distance traveled, then it is always lesser than the total distance traveled, but it cannot be more than the total distance traveled. So the homework for today will be prove this point 2. So prove the point 2 for both the path length and displacement. So third point is the value of the path length cannot be 0, but the value of displacement can be 0. The value of the path length cannot be 0, so path length never can be 0, but the value of the displacement can be 0. Displacement can be 0 sometimes. So another homework will be prove this point 3 for both of the path length and displacement. So please do this homework and submit it to me. So this is it for today. Thank you.